And I'm gonna go talk to him. What's up? Thank you. All right, what's up, crew? What's up? What's up? Climate Energy Alliance crew. My name is Sampson Levingston. I do historical walking tours all over the city of Indianapolis and also up in downtown Carmel. I do these tours along Indiana Avenue, Martindale, the Kennedy King neighborhood, Mapleton Falk. And so what you see behind me is Indiana before Indianapolis is the capital. Look at where we thought Lake Michigan was. All right, just a reminder that we don't know much and we still don't know much. Right there in the middle, it says Delaware Towns, okay? Because I want to remind everybody that we're walking in land that was covered by indigenous people, okay? And I don't ever want us to forget that. While we're right here in Indiana, that word means land or place of Indians. Polis is a Greek word that means city. So right now we're literally walking, living, breathing in the city of the land of the Indians, or Native Americans, yet you do not see them overly represented. So let's think about how quickly culture can be erased from places and spaces, even where it's named after them, okay? So as we're talking about Indianapolis, here's me growing up in Indianapolis. Now we'll do a little bit of trivia here, a little bit of trivia for you. Looking for some does anybody here know, is this an Indiana crowd? Are people here from Indiana? Decent. All over the country, okay, so I'll fill us in on some of these. Okay, that's good. I got you. Don't worry, don't worry. Now, I'm gonna let you guys understand something. Indianapolis wasn't always the capital, okay? We're not this big city that's on a major waterway, okay? So we've always been trying to figure out how to get people to our state capital, all right? Now, this is me growing up. I'm about to be a freshman, okay? I got this shirt at the Indiana Black Expo. You see it says Homeland Security. This is 2009. I understood what this meant early. The bottom of that shirt, you guys may have seen this before. This shirt says fighting terrorism since 1492, right? I understood that even going into high school. There were people here before this European invasion, right? I understood there were people already here, okay? And I wanted to just know more. I'm this curious kid. I want to know more about myself, about my place, about my city, about this history. And so I went to high school here in Indianapolis. I went to Cathedral High School. I played there when I was in high school. Then right when I got out of college, I started coaching there. So that's like a little 10-year challenge, winning state championships as a player and a coach. We're talking about growing up in Indianapolis. But I graduate from college, I'm talking about finding myself. I'd always found identity through sports, through locker rooms, through teammates. I was a college football player. Think about how many people are on a football team. Every day, it's mandatory that you go interact with all these other like-minded individuals. It's a requirement. You have to spend 10 hours a day with 80 people that look and think similar to how you do. They have similar interests, and I was truly bonded through this, okay? And so when I took my first job out of college at White River State Park, it was great. I loved it, but I felt isolated very quickly. So I started trying to figure out how to find myself. And I started traveling the whole entire state of Indiana looking for who Sampson Levingston was. I did not understand who I was or what I was doing now that I did not have this team around me, okay? So this is me at White River State Park. Worked with Lisa at White River State Park. Let's go, that's where I'm at. So talking about Indiana, we got a few state symbols. I'll just go ahead and read these off for us so you guys just know a little bit about where you are here in the Hoosier State, okay? Our state tree is the tulip poplar, all right? Beautiful tree with beautiful leaves. About to get yellow right now. They call that thing the yellow poplar. You'll see those beautiful leaves here soon. Our state snack is popcorn. Orville Redenbacher is from Indiana. So people think of Indiana and think of corn, okay? That's okay. But our snack, all right, popcorn, that kind of makes sense. You can make fun of us with that. Our state insect is native to Indiana. That is going to be the Say's firefly, okay? So that's up there. That's our state. And round of applause for the firefly. I just heard that. Let's go. That's good energy. Then our state flower is the peony, and our state bird, like 7 other states, I believe, is the northern cardinal, okay? So not too unique in that. Then I start realizing where people were going, and that was where I already was. That was Indianapolis. That was Indiana Avenue. And this great migration, this period of black people looking for prosperity, looking for hope, looking for life, right? There's this narrative that people are just skipping up north looking for a better job. No, they're trying to run away from terrorism happening in their country. They can just get killed for the way that they look. So let me go try to live somewhere else. People don't even know where the hell they are. Think about it as they're moving up north. Where am I? Going from Alabama to Indianapolis. There needs to be groups of people that look like me, talk like me, move like me, that's gonna make me feel safe. And as people would travel, they may travel with these green books. Normally when I get on stage, I got all this table set up and I'll pull out a green book. I'll have a table after this if you guys wanna look and interact with them. But they have these different cities from Indianapolis. Hannah, if you wouldn't mind grabbing me a few of them, that'd be great. And I'll pull them out whenever you get them, no rush. But talking about the green books, okay? And let people know where to safely go, where they could eat, where they could drink, where they could look like me and be treated like a human being. And time again, you open that book up, if you would have been traveling, it's gonna take you to Indiana Avenue, a place I had not learned about in high school, a place I had not learned about in college. I took every history elective I could. I thought it was fun. I thought it was cool. People want to teach me what happened? Great. Why would you not want to know what happened? I'll take all the history electives I can. And so talking about the green books, I was fast. Round of applause for Hannah. She helps me do everything that I do. Thank you so much. Go and stay. And when you flip open to Indianapolis, you're going to see Indiana Avenue over and over again. Well, what was there? Why that area? What about this history and where is it now? That's what I talk about every day for a living because I felt like it wasn't talked about enough. So now I try to fill that space. Now this is Indiana Avenue like in the 50s. Walker Theater has been here since 1927, named after Madam C.J. Walker, our nation's first self-made woman millionaire. Made that money here in Indianapolis. Round of applause for Madam C.J. Walker. Now, talking about Madam Walker, she built that theater there to make sure that there were places that our people could be treated, like I said earlier, with some respect. That's there on the avenue. Hannah, we'll do the shoes in a second. This is Crispus Attucks High School. That opens up in 1927. As a city, we segregated our school system as a result of the Great Migration. So many black people are here in Indianapolis that it's time to put them in their own school. That's what happens there. It's not like, yay, time to go build a new school for black people because we love them. It's like, no, let's build a new school for black people because we despise them being in our classrooms. And now there's so many, there's nothing that we can do about it. But this was the greatest school that our city's ever seen. I mean, Attucks High School had doctors with PhD, teachers with PhDs. They had, okay, let me frame it this way. Understand that black people at first, they thought, why would we do this? Why would we segregate our school system? But when Attucks opened up and they walked through those hallways and it was black students and black teachers and black coaches and black teammates, they realized this is a special environment, one in which I can actually learn about myself. There's people who look like me that are teaching me about me, that value me and my existence. Think about how education before. I've seen a documentary where a woman from an Indianapolis high school spoke, and she said that she was at Manual High School for 4 years and nobody spoke to her. For 4 years, nobody spoke to her. So imagine that high school experience. Then one at Attucks, where things start to look completely different for you. Attucks had one of the best basketball teams ever. There they are, the Crispus Attucks Tigers, okay? Won the state championship in 1955. Now, has anybody here seen the movie Hoosiers or heard of the movie Hoosiers? Okay, nice. Round of applause for Hoosiers. That's great. We love Indiana basketball here. Understand that in that movie, they won 32-30. The Hoosiers did. The all-white team from Milan, Indiana, okay? They win 32-30, the 1954 state championship. Attucks High School, let me see those shoes there, because Converse did this commemoration for Attucks Tigers. They were led by Oscar Robertson, the first person in NBA history to ever average a triple-double. He's right there, number 43. Funny thing about Oscar, watched another documentary, they said he was one of the first people to really figure out the pick and roll. They run the pick and roll in the NBA every day. Imagine you're one of the first people to master the pick and roll. Your stats are about to be pretty crazy. That's Oscar Robertson right there, Indianapolis, Indiana. Now, I told you the score of the 54 state championship. It was 32-30. Attucks won the state championship in 1955, 97-64. They played that game at Butler Fieldhouse, Hinkle now, right close to here. No shot clock, no three-point line. Indiana high school basketball, 97 points. So think about just how talented these boys were. They didn't even give these boys a chance to play until 1943. So the school was open from 1927. They wouldn't let black schools or Catholic schools compete. Then by 1943, they're in. And within 15 years, they're the champions of the whole state. And this is something. Okay, but I never looked at the black history in Indianapolis, where I am, where I'm from. And the reasons why I didn't know about it, it's so easy to see now, but it was so confusing at the time. But when I saw this mural is on Indiana Avenue. I lead people here every day. When I saw this is what I wrote about it. I said, Indiana Avenue is where the people that looked like me felt most comfortable, most at home. They established a community that was theirs unlike any other area in the city. I didn't know this. I'm 22 years old. I never learned about this. Someone who loves history. Look at how it made me feel, what it made me do when I finally learned about myself and my city. I said, I guess that's what I'm looking for at times. Now that I'm a little comfortable, starting to feel at home with who I am. Told you I went on this journey. Who am I? I want to create something of my own. I want to build something from the ground up, something unlike anything the world has ever seen. That's how I felt when I saw myself in my city. So now I try to bring that feeling to different kids every single day because I didn't get a chance until I was in the 20s. There's Wes Montgomery, our most famous jazz musician from the Avenue. They introduced him in this YouTube clip as the greatest jazz guitarist in the world. Self-taught, taught himself how to play at 19 years old. Talk about learning from people. I'm no trained historian. I just go out there and tell people real things that happened. All right, Wes Montgomery taught himself how to play guitar based off what he thought it should sound like. Essentially, right? Like, I'll tell kids all the time, people will love what you're doing if they've never seen it before. If they've seen it before over and over and over again, it gets repetitive. Sometimes you gotta switch things up. Wes Montgomery did not play with the pick, he just strummed with his thumb. That's what's so cool. So talk about all this stuff that's there. What happened to it? Where is it? And I had to figure this out. During the Black Lives Matter movement, I went downtown. I wish I was like, man, I need to speak to these people here. All this energy here, that'd be great if I could just talk. And I led one walking tour. The news heard about it, so I had to lead another one so it could be on TV. And they asked me, they said, when is the next one on TV? I was like, Saturday. And then from there, I was rolling, you know? But that's how I kept going, really. I was like, shit, I gotta put up the tickets. But let's talk about what happened to it. So this is how neighborhoods are redlined, okay, in the city of Indianapolis. Thank you for that. That's great. I'm gonna drink it right now. I was like, is this her drink? Why is she doing this?
No, I haven't drank it.
That's an interesting gesture. Where are they from? But talking about the neighborhood, okay, and how it was redlined. Redlining is a practice that hits big cities all across the country, all right? The Great Depression, stock market crashes in 1929. By 1937, they're trying to figure out how do we make sure this never happens again. So they picked and chose which neighborhoods they'd fund, which neighborhoods they wouldn't, and they'd give you explanations, reasons why. The neighborhood where I spend most of my time is D21. We're actually in B17 right now. I do a tour here too, so I talk about where we are. Notice how like going north, as you get to like north of 38th Street, a lot of green happens. People with their automobiles can afford to drive up there. You can also get mortgage funding if you look a certain way and you go up there. We're down here though, D21. So let's look at the description of the neighborhood. Before we do that, let's look at this. This is where I normally am, Indiana Avenue. Where that yellow line is the avenue and the yellow triangle is Walker Theater. Let's look and see what happens to it in 80 years. Look at that bottom left triangle. Look at all of this. Look at all this right here. And then look here. All right, that's mainly IEPUI. Notice the interstate at the top, and there's a big hospital system there. Okay, those are the three things, the big trifecta. That's knocking out these black neighborhoods all across the country, the interstate, the hospitals, the university. All right? And let's look at the area that we're talking about, D21. As a reminder, D21 is right here. I don't want to fall off. D21. So let's see what that is. They say favorable influences, none. Keep in mind, I just told you the greatest high school in the city is over there. So it gives you an idea of the perspective of the people making these decisions. Here, on the far left, that's Lockfield Gardens. Okay, that's that low-cost apartments for Negroes, black area, black apartments, black theater, black stuff. That's what's over there. It says, but there is possibility. They're saying don't invest in that area. Don't give money there because we're not going to let that area survive. there is possibility that balance of this territory west of Blake and north of Michigan may be taken over by the city, essentially for a park or overlooking hospital development on the west. And that's what we see now. We see a big state park, overlooking hospital development, universities, the interstate. They knew that area wasn't going to be able to be sustained with the people that were living there currently. They'll be sustained now that there's different people there, trust me. But not with the people that were there previously. Were they going to support and fund that neighborhood? One of the best ways to turn a neighborhood that's perceived as poor and black to predominantly white is to put a university there. Because in this country, if it's not an HBCU, it's a PWI. And neighborhoods reflect anchoring institutions. So if you put a university where an old black neighborhood was, don't be surprised within 30, 40, 50 years, they don't look like an old black neighborhood no more. And that's what we're dealing with. I say all of this, okay, because less than a year after I started, NPR came and they put me on All Things Considered, and they were asking, why do you do this? Or how, why? And I told them I was looking for myself and where I fit in, and I realized that I fit in right here in Indianapolis on Indiana Avenue. And once I found out the history about myself, I never left it. That's where I spend almost every single day, trying to let people know about this rich district and history that our city had and is now underneath the asphalt. No, we have questions, maybe, or time. I don't even know what this arrangement is. But you can look at that QR code and get more information. You can also clap. I heard that get started. So we go ahead and clap. That's great. That's great. And that's pretty much all I got. And I appreciate the patience that you guys have with me, getting all set up, getting video and all that. I've been running around a bunch today, but I can't thank you guys enough for having me come speak to you guys. It means a lot to me. And thank you again. Are there any questions or no? You guys?
About the music history in Indiana Avenue, because we have a lot of people don't understand why it's so important for our national history around music and culture.
Yeah, for sure. So like along Indiana Avenue, and I'll go back to this jazz mural that we have here. I mean, there were so many different jazz clubs and people traveling up and down the avenue. Wes Montgomery, like I said, is probably our most famous jazz musician from Indiana Avenue, from Indianapolis. But the role that jazz is going to play, not just here, but down in New Orleans and Memphis, all these different things, it's a way to express yourself and just freely be yourself, play music for your people, to your people. And so the Avenue is a place that was for us. So we're playing jazz our way, which was pretty special. So yeah, thanks for that question. Right here.
What's like the most outrageous thing somebody who's gone on one of your walking tours has learned from you?
I think I tell a story sometimes too. Adults have asked, and this may be something that you may not all know, is just that when the Underground Railroad was filled in, which lets me know, I'm talking about Underground Railroad and slavery, that we don't know enough, nor do we ask questions when we're in school. They teach us stuff in 3rd grade, right? Like Underground Railroad, slaves, and you're done. It's like, well, we need to talk about this as we get older, so we realize how this affects everyday life. So like that's the main thing, like questions like, how did you know when the next Underground Railroad train was coming, right? Like these are, I get from like adults like you guys, like and all like formal great company board members. I'm like, wow, we're dummies, but that's okay. There's a bunch of stuff I don't know. I'm just, it's a good reminder every now and then. Be patient with people, have empathy as they want to learn, They want to learn. It's different if they just want to be ignorant their whole life. You're in a talk or next time you're sending an email, and that's kind of like what I hope people take away. And also like the value of showing somebody their history, seeing their face. There's nothing wrong with an Asian American. I had him on a tour here at Newfields, and he told me the contemporary Asian art, I can't find it. He wanted to see it. So what he wanted to do, he wanted to see himself represented in the museum. And I'm like, dude, I feel you. That's all I do is look for myself in cities, in stories, in movies, in photos. Where's the black guy at? I look for myself. I take pride in finding this history and sharing it. And there is nothing wrong with that. It's not stepping on the toes of other cultures and communities while we do it. Minneapolis that have been displaced in the process. And like, we're having a reckoning with it as well, where I feel like as a city, I'm very proud of Indianapolis and how we responded to 2020 and the Black Lives Matter movement. Like, I'm so proud of Indianapolis in that way because I feel like we're now holding each other accountable. We're starting to be aware of things as a city, which makes these conversations a lot easier, right? And so like, we're starting to have these conversations about what's been lost and how to do it right. It'll never be the same, but I think it's being easier in Indianapolis because at the forefront, our leadership culturally is all behind the stuff that I'm talking about, you know. Did you have one? Yes.
What have you learned from talking to youth on your tours about the value of making history relevant for them?
I think kids think it's history is something that happened forever ago, right? And so like even when I did this field trip 2 weeks ago, I had the same class. Then they came back again in the fourth graders, and the teacher told me before they thought you were going to be some boring old guy, and it's like I could have been though. But with kids, though, I think it's important to let them know that like history is happening all of the time. History is everything. History is everything. A kid likes math. Okay, let's talk about the history of math. Kid likes science. Talk about the history of science. History is everything, just as everything is everything. And then one more thing, I had a girl on a walk that said like, wow, this is all about black people. And it wasn't, and she's a black lady. It's not all about black people, but she realized for the first time that she was learning about herself. And I think that was a cool moment. And when you get to see that for kids, and they get to see that I'm the guy with the speaker and the microphone, I dress like this no matter what I'm doing. So like, they say, okay, this is the leader, nice. Because I can see myself doing that. And so it's cool, like when the kids are pulling the headset and I'll say like, what would I say? They're like, come this way, let's learn history. And I'm like, wow, they've got me figured out already. So yeah, that's a great question. So it's getting late here, crew. Yeah, there it is. Let's go. Thank you. And then if anybody, I don't know if anybody's coming to close you guys off, but I guess I am. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll just jump off. No, you're fine.
No, that's nuts.
I know, bro. I'm gonna love the dirty, right? Dirty soda. Why you leave?